Okay. So I heard, Katie, that the algebra teacher, she made her own YouTube channel. Like she thinks she can compete.
Recording?
This is recording, yes. It's always recording. And so the kids are like, you need to get back on that YouTube. You need to make your own video. And here we are. Okay, so 2.4a, linear transformations, which is actually kind of easy and kind of boring, but whatever, we can do it. So what we do is we start with a line. This is our parent linear function. Y equals x, or since it's functions, call this f of x equals x. Okay. So you just need to remember, if you haven't done it yet, that y and f of x are the same thing. One is just function notation. It makes no difference though. Okay. And then we're gonna look, what if we take this line and we transform it? So really we're just comparing it to a second line. So let's draw a second line here. Just like that. Okay. Give these some names. Let's keep this simple. Let's call this line A. And let's call this one up here line B. Why not? Okay. And so the equation of this line, which hopefully you know by now, would be x. No, I don't want to call that f of x. Let's not do that. Let's save that for later. Call this y equals 2x. Okay? So we would say line B is steeper than line A, because the higher the slope, the greater the slope, the steeper the line. Okay, there's your first transformation. Bigger the slope, steeper the line. You might want to write that down. I didn't write it down, but you should. Okay, and then we're going to draw a third line, and let's pick a different color for it and give it some actual endpoints. Why not? Let's call it red. And perfect. Okay, and let's call this one line C. And this equation would be y equals half x, right? And so we'd say, since this has less of a slope than our original, and in case you're like, wait, this first one didn't have a slope. Of course it does. If there's no number in front of x, remember the slope is 1, and 1/2 is less than 1, so we say that line C is less steeper. I wish there was a word for that, but it's always just less steep. It's not shallower, not quite flatter, it's just less steep. Shrug shoulders. Okay, so there's our first transformation. If the slope changes and nothing else, we say one line is either more steep or less steep, depending on your picture. Okay, and you're halfway there. That's actually, I think, like the trickier one of these to do. So let's look at an example. Here's our, since we're just gonna do 2 lines now, we can use our function notation, because this is how it's gonna appear to you. And let me bring up a problem so I can see what we're talking about here. Okay, so it says f of x equals x, and then we're gonna have a second line. That's not the color I wanted. I wanted red. Where's my red? That's purple. Why can't I see colors? That's orange. Where are these colors coming from? There it is. Okay. I'm a professional. Leave me alone. So it's going to say g of x equals 0.75. So now all this means is this still just equals y, but it's like a second y, like y sub 2. Don't get too freaked out by that. And then it's going to say what happened between this line and this line. And just looking at it, and and from the brief explanation I gave on the previous slide, since this is less than the original slope, we know this is going to be less steep. Less steeper. Let's go steeper. I don't know English that well. And let's see what that line would look like. So if it's, no, line. It's been a while since I've done this. Yep. I'll make it red. So 0.75 is 3/4. So we'd go up, get out of here, go away. So we'd go up 3 over 4. And that would go through the origin. It's proportional, right? Could drag it down some more. Okay, and here is our g of x. And we can see it's not less steep by much, but it is. Even if this was like 0.99x, it would be less steeper than the original. And that's the whole idea. Linear transformations. Okay, halfway there. You get like 50 examples like this in class, so I'm not gonna do too many, even though I made a bunch of slides for it. All right, here's our second one. This one's a little bit more fun. So what if instead of changing the slope, what if we change the y-intercept? So let's say x again, or f of x equals x. And if we notice, we wouldn't write it, but our y-intercept is 0. What if I picked a different y-intercept? Katie, give me a number.
4.
4. It's a good number. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Put down a couple more points. I'm not going to change the slope. All I'm going to do is change the y-intercept, and we can see what that does to our line. Let's draw it out best we can. So if we look, here it is, y equals, now this is x plus 4. So this is equally steep. You never have to write down, it's just pointing it out. The slope didn't change, but we would say this has been shifted 4 units. It's on I, it's not the best I. 4 units up. And that's it. That's your whole thing. So if it tells you that your line got shifted upwards, you know it's going to look like this. Same exact shape, just the whole thing gets moved up in the air. And then the opposite is true. What if I pick another number? Any number will do. Any number at all.
6.
No, any number will do. We practiced this.
4.
4. Okay, what if we go down 4? Good job, you nailed it. That's not a good high five. That's not. Yeah. Third time's a charm. Okay. What was I doing? Oh yeah. What if we shift it down 4? Why not? So y equals x minus 4. So 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go down 4. Slope doesn't change. Then I connect my points. We notice this one here, still equally steep, shifts, or shifted, let's do present tense this time, shifts 4 units. Okie dokie. Less, that's about it. To give you a nice basic start to linear transformations. Let's try one more with function notation. Let's look at one of these examples they gave me. It says f of x equals x, where did it go? Comma, g of x equals f of x plus 3. So all we're doing here is we're taking our original equation and we're just shifting it 3 units up. So pick a point, 1, 2, 3, going up, keep the slope the same, put a couple points down, connect them in a nice little line, red line. And we'd say this just got, and that's red, shifts 3 units up. Okay, and that's it. Linear transformations. Ask your teacher for more practice. Okay, good night or good morning, whatever time of day it is.